is going on? Good morning. Good morning. It's Sunday, NFL Week 18. It's a little bit sad, I'm going to be honest, especially if you are like me and your team is not moving on to the playoffs. Super disappointing season as a Colts fan. I don't even know. I won't get into that. I won't bring the mood down of the stream by talking about the Colts, but you know, it's bittersweet. Whoops, when your team is not advancing in the playoffs. And when this is the last week you're going to be able to watch your team, it is a bummer. I'm sure you guys know. You guys have been there before. Let me put everything up on the screen. My apologies for how long it takes me. It's just there's a lot I got to do here. Good morning, Andrew. Good morning. And what a great day to be blessed by the gambling gods. Time to take the books money. Andrew, hope you crush today. Absolutely crush it. Become a Ravens fan, bro. Sergio says, yeah, it would be a lot less painful, I think. I don't understand why I put myself through this. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know why I do this to myself. Every year, I think it's going to be it. I thought we had our version of Lamar. Thought we had that rushing quarterback that everybody gets excited to watch. We'll see. I'm still excited for the quarterback. The rest of the team, not so much. Try being a Raiders fan, Jack says. Yeah. EA Jack, I understand. All right. So, you know, it is what it is. But all right, let's look at everybody's talked about the incentives. We've talked about the incentives. I've talked about the incentives. We streamed the last 2 days. We know there's some incentives out there. A couple of them, were there yesterday. Derrick Henry got a touchdown, made everybody sweat for it. Guys, if you watched yesterday's video, who did I say was my favorite touchdown play from the Ravens game? Not Derrick Henry. That's an easy one. Mark Andrews. And then I said Mark Andrews' first touchdown, and then we were going to do what we did parlays with Mark Andrews' first touchdown and Jamar Chase, and then a Mark Andrews one with T. Higgins, and the Chase one would have cashed. I have to go back and look. I think it was a plus 4,000 or whatever. Absolutely would have cashed. However, Bailey Zappi starts at quarterback, throws a pick six, then proceeds to get yanked out of the game a couple minutes later, and Mark Andrews, of course, scores. But that's it. That's my rant. All right. That's the rant I have. I'm done. I'm done ranting. We're going to move on. We've got betting to do in week 18 here. Let's take a look at what we've got. Carolina Panthers. Let me see here. Let me pull my notes up. All right. Carolina Panthers and the Falcons. Bijan is the play for me here. He's going up against the worst defense in the league against the run, and the Panthers, we've been attacking them all season. I think I saw something that says Bryce Young has not won on the road, maybe this season or something. I don't feel great about Penix being the quarterback for the Falcons if you're going to play it, but I think you could easily build something out here, like the Falcons money line or minus 2.5 or something. Give me, wow, that Bijan touchdown has gotten juiced. Give me the Bijan touchdown there. That's a minus 182. Not great, but let's throw in. Look, you can't even alt line on FanDuel this week. They're not even letting you alt line anything down. That's disgusting. How about over here on Underdog? Can we alt line down on Underdog? How low can we go for rushing yards? Okay, you could go a little bit. We could do like a plus 80 rushing yards there. But the sites aren't letting you alt line them down this week. I saw we couldn't alt line Mike Evans down. Listen, guys, if there's any doubt that they don't want you to win, they're taking away all the incentives and the incentive plays that we want to play and any kind of other angles that normally we would go here. They're taking them away for this week. So Falcons money line and the Bijan touchdown's not going to get it done. So let's go back out here, and I would say that we can do something like Falcons minus 2.5, still a minus 160. Not going to get it done for you here on FanDuel. However, I'm sure we can find. Oopsies, that's the website here. I'm sure we could find better odds if we just use our little tool here. Best odds right now for this player on ESPN Bet. Much better than what we were getting on FanDuel, at least. Still not great. ESPN Bet a minus 240 for the anytime touchdown for Bijan Robinson. So I think if you're going to play it, that's the way to play it. And maybe on ESPN Bet. Can I pull up ESPN Bet here quick enough? Let's see. Give me 1 second here. Perhaps if this is easy to sign up, but if it's going to make me dual factor authentication, share my location, then allow while using the site. Okay. It would not, it wouldn't make sense here. I don't use ESPN Bet as much as I probably should, but let's go ahead and pull up ESPN Bet here. And let's look at player props. Let's look at Bijan rushing yards. Let's see, it's a little clunky on here. I'm going to alt. All right, how low can we go for Bijan? 80 plus? It's not great, but it's better. I mean, at least they let us do it. Touchdown scores. Give me Bijan for 1+. You could even look at the Bijan 2+ here. There you go. 80 plus rushing yards for Bijan and a touchdown, -104. That's much better. I like that a lot better. If you're going to play it, find it over here. You could throw in the Falcons money line. You'll get a nice plus odds play there. That is interesting. I don't mind that at all. Let's see, what do we got? Need the Colts to lay down for my under 7.5 wins future. Listen, they might lay down without even knowing it. Unintentionally lay down. They've been laying down all year, Rip Coyle. I think you're probably safe. But who knows with this team, man? Honestly, who the heck knows? Wentz, anytime touchdown, +950. Scored in his last 2 starts. For Wentz, +950. Yeah, we'll pull that up. Let's see. Do I even have Wentz here? Is Wentz on the radar here? Oh my gosh, look at him. There he is. Carson Wentz. +950 on FanDuel too. I like that. Thank you, Andrew, for that nice softball here, allowing me to use the tool and show off some of the features here. Yeah, don't play it at a +500 on DraftKings or BetOnline AG. Don't play it there. ESPN Bet a little bit better. I mean, look at the discrepancy here. Oh, yeah, you got to play this. You've got to play Carson Wentz here at this line for a sprinkle bet, ladies and gentlemen. Don't put a full unit on it unless you don't mind losing the full unit because, listen, it's Carson Wentz after all. He could just as well throw that touchdown in as he will flip the ball to the defender. But that makes me think then. That's got the wheels turning now. Do we also dabble a little sprinkle on the fact that he maybe runs in the first touchdown, gets down in the red zone, panics, decides, hey, every time I panic and throw the ball, I throw an interception, I'm down in the red zone. I don't want to do that. So he runs it in, takes a big shot right at the goal line, but he gets in, throws his hands in the air, and we cash out the +4,000 essentially. Interesting. I'll definitely be sprinkling a little bit on that. It's like a lotto ticket because why not? All right, so I've talked about Falcons. I've talked about the Falcons and Bijan. That's a great play today. Bijan's in a great spot. Let's move on. We've got the Titans. Pollard has some incentives this week. This is just a little bit, FanDuel's just a little bit easier and more intuitive for me to work on, especially on the desktop version. So I'm going to actually let this be the guide. Commanders, what do we got for the Commanders? Does Washington needs to win too because they're fighting off the Packers for playoff seeding. So Washington needs to win on the road against Dallas. I don't have any huge plays for this one. I haven't really looked too much or found anything I really like for this game. You've got Terry. We played him last week. He didn't get the touchdown. He dropped the touchdown, I think, or no, it was called back, I believe. Scary Terry has an incentive to catch a touchdown this week. So, you could go back to the well on that at a +100. Let's take a look and see if we can find it at a little bit better odds, though, because if you're going to play it, let's get you some better odds here. Anytime touchdown, +120 on Hard Rock is the best odds right now. You could also play that on Bovada, Caesars. FanDuel is one of the worst odds for this play. DraftKings and FanDuel at a +100 are the worst. Play it some. Oh, ESPN bet at a -110. Jeesh. Never mind. I stand corrected. Takes the cake for the worst place to play this bet this week. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, before I go too much further, while I'm moving on to the next thing, this is PropsBot.AI, by the way, but please do me a favor. Like the video, comment, subscribe. That's the tool I'm going to be using if you want to know. I'm going to be using this all day. Over here, obviously, we have a mobile app version, all right? Desktop, who wants to sit at their computer, all right? I'm doing my plays, on the go, when I'm waiting in the doctor's office, when I'm in the restroom, all right? If we're being honest, we're doing these plays at random times of the day. I need to be able to do it on my mobile device, and that is why we have a native iOS and Android app. Intuitive, easy, beautiful. Guys, you could go right here, PropsBot.AI, go to Apple, Download it there on the Apple App Store. Click Android, and you've got it on the Android store as well. Terry McLaurin is interesting for a touchdown today. Other than that, I'm probably not touching anything from this game. Let's move on here. Let's move right on down the list. The next game we've got is the Bears and the Packers. Now, I do think this is interesting. Let me go over here and pull up. What are we on here? Love. Buddy Love. Jordan Love's passing yardage is interesting. Now, I know he's hit the under in 2 straight weeks. However, I do think we're only asking for 200 from Jordan Love. I also like Josh Jacobs in this game, so I think you could build out a little SGP. The Bears don't have anything to play for other than Caleb Williams trying to avoid the sack record, which I think he should be fine because he's like 900. If he gets 9 sacks today, God help him. The man's going to be – they have to take him out in a stretcher. Jordan Love, though, I like his over 199.5 passing yardage line. As you can see, some of the other books have it at 204.5, but don't do that. Play it at the 199.5. The confidence score of a 0.68 is solid today. That was a 0.75 not too long ago. So it's obviously fluctuating around and moving. The only concern here, I guess, is if Green Bay on the road gets up big against Chicago and they just ride out Josh Jacobs, which absolutely could happen. Yeah, Andrew, I think, listen, Andrew, you would have said that to me last week, though, right? I mean, what was the difference last week? I'm not disagreeing with you because I missed out on it last week. I mean, I played it last week, but we missed it because it got called back. So, I mean, Scary Terry let the whole world down last week, right? Everybody was on it, I feel like, and everybody wanted it to happen. It gets called back. We'll definitely go back to the well at a plus 120. We'll definitely go back to the well on that. But, yeah, just massive disappointment. Listen, maybe you're better at than I am at playing these guys after they've scorned us. I need like a little bit of time to, really go through and grieve the loss, essentially. Mike Evans is still hurting me. Even when the incentive week this week, it's hard for me to play Mike Evans. But, the whole world's on him, so what could go wrong, right? Jordan Love's interesting here. Let's look at one more play, like I said, from this game. Josh Jacobs has put together a string of good games. A string of hitting the over on his line. Right now, DraftKings is the only one giving it to you at 64.5 right now. That's the only place I'm finding it. This obviously updates, I believe, every 10 minutes right now is what we have it set to. So, this could change at any time depending on where in that 10 minutes you get and when these books release these lines. But, I mean, we're a couple of hours out from the game. And yeah, you've only got one option to play it. So, I think this is interesting, though, for Josh Jacobs. I don't think he should have a problem getting this line of 64.5 this week. Obviously, I like his touchdown prop as well. We don't have to bounce back out. We can just look at it from right here. There's his touchdowns too. I mean, my goodness, you're not going to see much better game chart, game log data than Josh Jacobs here. So maybe just a little parlay his 64.5 rushing yardage with his anytime touchdown. Best odds right now are always going to be right up here in this box. That's a minus 120 in FanDuel. But if you don't have FanDuel and you want to look at the other ones and you've got something like DraftKings or ESPN Bet, they are there. Look at ESPN Bet, taxing the heck out of you there. BetMGM at a minus 140, which also BetMGM has that, that vulture protection or whatever. I think that's Underdog's phrasing, but the vulture protection where if he scores the second touchdown, I think you get your money back on the bet. So play it over there. That's not a bad spot. But Josh Jacobs is a good option today for that game. That's a game I think is interesting and worth attacking. Do I have anything else? Do I have any sacks from that game? No, I know I have one for San Fran. Houston and the Tennessee Titans. Houston can't move, if I'm not mistaken, and the Titans have nothing to play for. Let me just see. I think the Titans have a 12% chance to earn the number 1 pick. With a loss here, they obviously have to lose, and then they need some other teams to lose or win as well. And let's see. The smart move. Oh, yeah. Houston's locked into the 4th seed for the postseason, so they stand to gain nothing. I think their coach, D'Amico Ryan, said that they will play. Yeah, everybody will play, but he's probably, CJ Stroud will probably play a quarter. I don't even know. Can you bet anything under? No, you can't even bet for this game because they're not going to give you anything. I'm just curious what the app pulls up in a scenario like this. You can find his anytime touchdowns or something, I guess, but that's it. Those are probably from earlier in the week too. All right, that's cool. I was just curious to see what it shows up in a scenario like that. Week 18 is weird, guys. If you don't know already, Week 18 is weird. Love might not play the whole game. Is that true? Let me see. Well, that would be unfortunate. Then I would just stay with Josh Jacobs, although there's a good chance they pull out Josh Jacobs then if that's the case. Let's see. Where is Green Bay? Oh, the Packers. So the Packers, I think, have to win, though, yeah? Yeah, the Packers can finish in the 6th seed. Oh, yeah, in the 6th seed if the Commanders lose. So they obviously need a little bit of help, but I don't know. Do you other than watching this game, and if the Commanders are up by 40 points, right? You got to play your people, no? Andrew, you don't think they'll play the people the whole game? I don't know. If I'm a coach and I can move up to the 6th seed, I mean, if I've determined that the 6th seed for our team's chances, because these guys are doing this. They have whole boardrooms of people that are doing this. They're looking at the schedule and saying, okay, who would we rather play? Would we rather play, this seed? Would we rather play this team? If they're looking at the schedule and they think that moving up to the 6th seed benefits their chances next week to get the win, I think you absolutely try to play the whole game unless you're up by, a huge number of points and you try to win. That's my opinion. But listen, there's a reason I'm here and not, in the NFL coaching or making these kind of decisions. But that's what I would do. I guess, like I said, unless with the only exception being if I'm looking at the scoreboard, somebody's checking their phone and the Commanders are up by 40 points at halftime, then I could totally see Jordan Love getting pulled. But I don't know, man. Like if they're in this game, I'll have to watch. This will be an interesting week. Guys, week 18 is going to be weird, okay? This is like, kind of like the beginning of an NBA season where you don't have a lot of data or whatever. Like, this is an unpredictable time. So I think you have to just, try to think about these things a little bit beyond the data, a little bit more like strategy and seeding and stuff, and make your decision on how you think it goes. But I don't think it's a bad week also, by the way, to play lower units, by the way. I don't think it's a bad week to do it. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying, oh, okay, here you go. Yeah, okay, that's possible. Yeah, I would say they have to be up by a decent amount, though, like, 17 points, 21 points, maybe something like that. No more Terry. See, Sergio is scoring as well. I don't blame you. But he did get the touchdown. It just got called back. He had a terrible game. Terrible game that week, though, too. Like, didn't do anything. Was put in a vice grip. Let me see. Will this update? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, see, it's moving and shaking. The confidence score is already down to a 0.68 now, based on either news data, something that's coming in, the odds probably updating. So, all right, well, tread cautiously. Listen, that's my thought here. I think it's unlikely that unless one of those things is happening, some sort of a blowout there somewhere, they have to win the game. So you don't pull them until maybe maybe there's like 6 minutes left in the game and you feel pretty comfortable. You might pull the guy instead of sending him back out there. But, it's not going to be pulled at halftime more than likely. Like I said, Houston, Tennessee, not really much to look at here. The Colts in Jacksonville, obviously this game doesn't matter. But what's interesting is Flacco's passing yardage is actually kind of interesting here. He's gone over a lot. Obviously, you could see this against Buffalo, the Giants, Minnesota. He was under. That was a horrible primetime game. But Flacco loves to throw the ball. If this ends up being his last game potentially, let me see here. If this ends up being his last game, Bally Bet's odds are coming through strange. Then I think there's a good chance that, he just kind of lays it all out there, which that's kind of been Flacco's MO anyways. Jacksonville, obviously a terrible, terrible defensive team against the pass, allowing the most passing yards in the NFL, literally dead last. I think that this is a good spot for Flacco just to spread the ball around. This Colts team's reeling. They need to do something good, end the season on a high note. They've struggled. They've lost in Jacksonville 6, 8 straight times or whatever. This is a game they kind of need to win. As much as I'd almost rather see them lose because it would help their draft stock. So that is an interesting angle to take. And then if you want to parlay it, can we even take his receivers as well? Pittman looked like the guy last week after Downs was clearly his favorite in the previous games. No lines for Michael Pittman. How about Downs? Did I type Pittman wrong? Pitts? No lines for Pittman. That's weird. But I guess it's not I guess that's strange. Let's see. Yeah, FanDuel. Look at FanDuel's not giving out lines for this game at all. FanDuel just said, nope, not going to do it. Not going to do it. Any thought about unders on targets based on the week 18 efforts? Yeah, I think we should look at some unders. I mean, Josh Downs, this would be an interesting under. Although if we're going to take the over, though, I'd probably stay away from taking his receivers unders. And just because this guy, he's been so unpredictable, Flacco has been on who his favorite guy is. Downs was his favorite with Flacco for multiple weeks, multiple times this season. And then all of a sudden he comes out and Josh Downs doesn't even hardly get a look last week. We can't play Pittman. That's so weird. I wonder why Pittman has no lines out this week. I know he was kind of banged up with a back injury. But so as far as unders go, I mean, you could look at if we think Jordan Love. So I'll pull that thread that Andrew brought up. If we think that Jordan Love is not going to play the full game, then look at somebody like, Reed's kind of been terrible lately. I know because I thought he was in a good spot. You can't even play these guys unders. Bad Jeffro. Hello, by the way. I see you in here, and I appreciate your question. The problem is that a lot of these lines are just not even available. Let's go by. Let's look at. You could look at pass attempts or completions for some of these guys. Let's see, do we not have any for them? Pass completions. Rodgers is probably playing the full game. Baker Mayfield could get pulled if they get up big. Look at Baker's completions, though. It's going to be hard to fade something like that. What about Baker's attempts? They just get ahead and they start running the ball. You could look at Baker's attempts, although when he misses, it's been super sweaty. Super sweaty. Are you getting any bonus anywhere else? No, 30.5 across all the books. I think you could definitely look at the unders. I don't have any off the top of my head right now that I wanted to look at. You could sort here by under, and we can just look at it this way. Let's see. So he's been under. Yeah, and not a great hit rate. Caleb Williams has been under his passing completions. This might be an interesting one. If he's getting banged up, if this game gets out of hand, will they decide to pull Caleb rather than risking his injury in a late season game, or will they leave him in there and allow him to just keep getting reps because, he needs it? I don't know. I mean, I think they're committed to him at least for another year or two, right? So if that's the case, could you see them possibly taking him out and just being like, listen, Caleb, good season. You've gotten pummeled. We're going to take you out. Spencer Rattler is one that could be interesting here. They're just getting destroyed, but he probably just stays in and slings it, honestly. So I think completions might be fine, but I probably wouldn't look at his passing attempts under because he's probably just going to keep throwing the ball if they get behind in this game, which they should. Tyler Huntley here. Pass completions, he hit 22 last week, huh? All these short stuff. Look at it, set at 17.5 now. How about his passing attempts? Against the Jets, Tyler Huntley could be interesting as under for his pass attempts. Look at, because you're getting a little bit here of a value, 27.5. Bump this up to 27.5 just to show you the functionality, the features. It didn't do much there, but it's fun to have. It's fun to have it. Yeah, a lot of books are at 26.5, but you can get it at 27.5 to the under on FanDuel at a -114 there. Bucky Irving, great question. Let's go over here. Take a look at Bucky Irving. Rushing yardage are solid. He outsnapped Rachaad White last week, I think, 65% to 35 or something like that. I think it was 65% snap rate last week. Bucky Irving looked great. I like his touchdown bet. I do like that. And when I like his touchdown bet, I'm always a little bit interested, especially for a favorite like this, in his first touchdown. Now, don't I? Oh, that's interesting. Let me snap that. I do wish, obviously, that you could get it at better odds. Oh, you know why? That's my mistake. We're still on the under. There we go. My mistake here, ladies and gentlemen. That was a user error there. First touchdown. Now, these are just touchdown odds. This is not pulling data from first touchdown. I don't think the data provider has first touchdown as a data point yet. So, just so you know, that's what. So these are not first every time he scored a first touchdown. These are every time he scored a touchdown in the game. So pay a little bit no mind to that. But if you want to play the first touchdown, you could almost get it at a +400 on Bet Rivers. I don't mind that play. I think the first touchdown is good. I want to attack these guys that are going to score, going to start out hot, move the ball well, and Bucky Irving does fit that mold. If I'm going to do this, because it's already a DGen play, I'd probably parlay the first touchdown with Tampa Bay money line or even Tampa Bay -2.5 or 6.5, something like that. and get this to like a plus 500 play right there. That's how I would play it, Sergio. But as far as like his regular props, yeah, I think he's in a great spot this week. I think he could really do well. They should be able to get ahead. I do think that they try to get Mike Evans that record. So, excuse me, as long as they have some success with it early on, then I think you see a heavy dose of Bucky Irving, late in the second quarter and then in the second half of that game. Although, if they do get ahead, the one concern you have is, do they all of a sudden just go to White, who's now become kind of the number 2 here? And do they just let him run it out and save Bucky for the playoffs? Always a concern, something to consider here. Again, guys, it's not as cut and dry in week 18, but that's a great question, Sergio. I think that if he can get it early and break off some big runs, and if the Saints keep this game kind of close because Tampa Bay wants to win this game, then he should exceed that line without a problem here. Let's move right down here. I talked about the Colts, and then we got off on a tangent too long here. The Bills have nothing to play for. The Patriots, I don't have too much in this game other than can I play Ty Johnson's receptions? Whoops, I have to spell it right. You know what? It's probably easier if I just type Ty. What do I got going here? Do I have bad connection? Let's see, what do I got? Oh, my connection was crap. Okay. Ty Johnson. All right, give me a little bit more. There he is. That's all I can get. These books, I want his reception prop. I want to take like a 3+, 4+ here for him. Well, I think a touchdown might be interesting a little bit too, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted receptions. I'm disappointed in the books for not giving it to us. Let's take a look real quick. I want to look up Ray Davis, but I'll show you it on mobile because, like I said, I'm using this because I'm streaming. But who are we kidding? We're all going to be on mobile doing this. Anytime touchdown for Ray Davis is a good play today, in my opinion. Plus 150, playing the backups. They're going to let him play. Yeah, we don't have any other props for Ray Davis. But Ty Johnson, if you can get his receptions prop somewhere, it's interesting. Diamond, what is going on, my friend? But yeah, so I want to play Tyler Johnson, 3+ receptions, 4+ receptions somewhere. I think that would be a fun play if we can get it. Not sure if you're going to be able to find that anywhere, if any of these books are going to open that up, or if this is all we have. But if that's all we have, it's probably not a lot here to like. Ty Johnson, a very capable pass catcher, though. Best odds if you want to sprinkle a first touchdown better and anytime touchdown are on ESPN Bet and Bally Bet, respectively, at a plus 650, plus 220. And Ray Davis over here, I think, is a better play even. But, of course, you're not getting as good of odds. Best bet you can get over here for him is Bally Bet at a plus 150, DraftKings plus 135, and those are the ones you got. ESPN Bet is also giving it to you. And if you want to do first touchdown for Ray Davis, plus 500, though. So this, to me, should be a larger difference, Ray Davis and Ty Johnson. Give me the Ray Davis at a plus 500. Again, first sprinkle. These are like lotto ticket bets, guys, all right? Diamond, to answer your question, my friend, PropsBot.AI is my app. It's our new app that I've launched. Yes, you can find it at PropsBot.AI. We're in the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. We got approval late the other night. Super psyched about that. Thank you for asking, my friend. Diamond, I see you in here all the time. Shoot me a message on either in the Discord or on X somewhere, and I'll hook you up too with a code. Appreciate you, my friend. But yeah, guys, check it out. Everybody can try it for a free 3-day trial. We wanted to look at the Bills. 2+? FanDuel, what are you doing? Are you going to even let me play? Whoops. Logged out due to inactivity. It was 10 minutes. Super secure. Super secure sites here. Let's go to NFL. You know what? That's my problem, I think, is just logging in becomes a pain. Where is the Bills and Patriots? Can we play 2+ for Ray Davis? And FanDuel just doesn't want you to even play on their site this week. Plus 750 for 2 touchdowns. It's not bad. I mean, we're talking lotto tickets, right? I mean, we're talking lotto tickets here. So I think it's fine for that. Personally, I think it should be more of like a plus 950. So I'm a little disappointed to see how low it is, but it is not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. Andrew, were you expecting it to be higher odds, though? I was expecting it to be a little bit better. Personally, I would have thought it would have been more of like a plus 900, plus 950, something like that. I mean, they're literally going to have Mitch Trubisky at quarterback. It's probably going to be a pretty low-scoring game. I don't know. Does Ray Davis get 2 in a low-scoring game? Totally could. Week 18, my friends. Yeah, 35.5-point total here, obviously. What's the weather like? Not that it really matters, but if these teams literally can't throw the ball, I like it a little bit more. You're going to be running a lot more. Oh, a little windy. Giants and Philly, a little windy day too. By the way, this is like a free plug for this site, though. This NFL weather site's pretty great. I'm not going to lie to you. This has kind of been my go-to thing lately as the weather has started to turn and we've had to start looking at that and considering weather. All right, let's move on real quick because I do want to find Joey B. Do I not have sacks? No sacks. Nothing for him. Joey Bosa is not going to have lines this week. Man, everybody with incentives, they're taken out. Look, we've got all these other guys. Normally, Joey Bosa would be in here. That is ridiculous. Joey Bosa needs a sack for an incentive or some sort of a record or something. But looks like they're not even going to let us bet on it. You know, these things, these sites, just disappointing. Do we have unders for sacks? We got unders for sacks. Joey Bosa. Can't bet on it. Keep an eye out. I move on. Blake Corum. Of course, he's not going to have any sack markets. Blake Corum rushing yardage. Whew, look at that. Broke the chart. Breaks the graph here. Rams are going to be playing their backups. Seattle needs to win, or they want to win. They want to win because Geno Smith has incentives on, I think, what was Geno Smith's? 185 yards and a win, I believe, are Geno's incentives. So Geno's going to be out here balling and playing to win. But, you know, Blake Corum's not bad. We were all, if you were in best ball, I mean, everybody was high on Blake Corum for this year. And, you know, coming out of Michigan, right? Yeah, Michigan. Blake Corum was high on everybody's list here and just never got the opportunity. Kyron looked great all season. I think Blake Corum could be an interesting play. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's my favorite on the board. Dobbins has to get 58 yards, right? Is his incentive? We've got Dobbins plays 65.5 on Hard Rock and Flip. Great value there, in my opinion. Those are good spots too. And Flip being available for everybody, that's a good play. What did I have for Dobbins? I think it's 58 yards was his incentive, right? And the Chargers have to win. Yeah, that's a good one. That's where I would probably, that's a play that I would take. That's a play that I'm comfortable taking. Some of these guys, it's like, look, we got 63.5 somewhere. Did I see 63.5? No, I didn't. Okay, making that up. Underdog 68.5. J.K. Dobbins. You can play his touchdown. Where's his rushing yardage? We had his rushing yardage. It looks like they removed it. Well, that's unfortunate. Must have been pulled recently. PrizePicks, maybe 67.5. I like that with a touchdown. Let's take a look at what his anytime touchdown market looks like. Minus 105 on Hard Rock, almost plus money. Close. Flip a minus 110. There's your parlay right there. Flip for the anytime touchdown and close that. I don't need all these apps open. This is all I wanted. And Flip was 65.5. So just take the over 65.5 and the anytime touchdown. You'll get a nice plus odds play there. Flip? No, Flip. Flip. Sorry if I didn't enunciate. Flip. Available in 48 states or something, I think. Oh, Andrew, you got to check out Flip, my friend. Got to check out Flip. J.K. Dobbins could be a great play. This game will be sneaky here because you got Bowers on the other side. Now, I'm not saying he's going to get 9 receptions, but if he does get 9 receptions, I believe he set some sort of a record. So you've got some things going on in this game here. The Chargers with the Steelers loss can now win and move into the 5th seed. So the Chargers are definitely going to be playing to win, I think, in this game. Again, the same rules apply. If they get up big, they'll be more inclined to pull their starters early. But, $3 daily. Jimmy over his yards. Jimmy who? Jimmy who? Jimmy G? Jay, you want Jimmy G? Is that it? Pretty Jimmy? Is that who you're looking at? Over his passing yardage? I mean, it's possible for that Rams team, but they're not playing any of the receivers. Yeah, I got you. I figured that's the Jimmy. Don't touch Jimmy. 191. Let's see what else. How low can we go? 191. It's been a while since Jimmy G has played. These got to be some old weeks. Yeah, these are some old seasons. I'm going to have to add I think I'm going to add the year into those. It's just we're a little tight on space. A little more space over here, but as you can see, a little bit tighter over here. If I pull up Jimmy G, in case you want to see like why I haven't added that, it's just we're a little tight. We're a little tight on space here. We only got 10 games worth of data for him. Jimmy G hasn't been playing much lately. But yeah, so it's a little tight on space. So if you want to know why I didn't put the year on there, it's just a little tight. Referral code for Flip? Yeah, I'm sure I got one, Andrew. Yeah, Flip's great. I mean, it's another app. It's another sports book. Give yourself a chance at the best odds. So sometimes you get them there. Sometimes Flip is a little bit juicy. But the fact that it's available in so many states, Flip is a great option because you get so many people that, when you're like, oh, play it over here. And they're like, oh, I don't have that. I'm in one of those states that's really locked down. It's like, okay, well, you probably have Flip, which is usually the case. So yeah, Andrew, just message me after so I don't forget, in case I forget. Jimmy G's passing yardage. Who's he going to be throwing the ball to, though? That's the only problem. It's like, what do you get with Jimmy G? Here's the thing. You asked me about it. What do I think is the chance he goes over? 52% chance? Just over half? Here's the thing is that like there's just so much unknown this week. Who are going to be the receivers? Who's going to be catching the ball in this game? Let's see. You don't have any lines for any of his receivers. So what is it? Demarcus Robinson. Trying to think of all their names. Is Colby Parkinson going to play? That's the question. Is who do you got out there? Let's take a look here at the Rams depth chart. See what their depth chart looks like. So who do we think he gets to throw the ball to? He's not throwing the ball at any of these guys. He gets Tutu Atwell. That was the guy I was forgetting. Okay, Tutu's fine. Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington, Ty Johnson, and Colby Parkinson maybe plays. That's not the worst receiving core, but it's also not the best. Let's see, Seattle. How have they fared? Seattle's middle of the road for Jimmy G. I don't know, man. Honestly, I just feel like he ends up probably in like the 170s, 180s range. I feel like they lean. I feel like if you want to play something from here, just play Blake. That's my bad. Just play Blake Corum. I think that's more favorable. A more likely chance of success is Blake Corum in this game, in my opinion, than good old Jimmy G here. But if Jimmy G is for you, just take a look at the app, find the best odds, at least get yourself the best odds and the best play. Don't be playing juice lines. That would be silly. All right, let's look at the next games we got here. Let me fly through a couple of these games and maybe just put together a little first touchdown slip or anytime touchdown slip. You know what? We already jumped on this. We already jumped on this one a little bit. The Bosa was a play I was looking at. And then the best game of the week is tonight, obviously. Let's build out. Let's just focus on that for now, right? These teams both want to win this game. Jahmyr Gibbs, anytime touchdown score, obviously. But if you want a first touchdown, I think I like St. Brown here. So the guys people ask me all the time, who's the first touchdown scorer? We've been hitting it a lot lately. We had there was a time in the middle of the year that we probably hit them really sporadically because that's what they are. They're lotto plays. But I think the play is St. Brown here. If you're going to go on that side of the ball, and if you're going to go on the Viking side, I think I like Addison. I lean Addison, although Jefferson's cashed us out a couple of times on the first touchdown. But I think I lean Addison or Tyler Hockenson. Like, look at these odds you're going to get for him. So now what you can do is because we're degenerates, right? Like let's have a little action on this. I want to look at first team touchdown, not anytime either player. Okay, nope. Where's first team? First team touchdown. Give me Gibbs. No, give me St. Brown. That's not bad. Addison's a little bit, it's still not terrible. Something like that. See, Hawkinson, I'm telling you guys. All right, I'm with you, man. Listen, if we were thinking the same thing, then I think that's the way to go. So, I listen. Do I wish it was better? Yeah, of course. I wish this was a little bit better. I wish we weren't getting so taxed on the first team touchdown. And I wish it was a little bit more closer aligned with oh yeah, Von's got a thing for 1 sack, right? Of course not. Oh wait, no, my bad. I was in that game. I was still pinned to that game. Von. Oh, I didn't realize there'd be so many Vons. Nope. Doesn't look like you can do it. Ridiculous that we can't get these sack lines. Of course not. Sacks. No sack lines for the Bills in New England. I saw your question, Andrew. That was a great question. Yeah, I remember he has an incentive too, but they're just not letting us bet on anything. They're just the worst. Like literally the worst. So if you're going to play it, like let's have some sweats for tonight. This is going to be the fun. This is going to be the fun game. This is the game to sweat. Again, these are small things. If you're playing this and you're going to be upset if you lose, this is not the play for you then. All right? That's not the play for you. This is like I want to have something that I hope like he launches this down the field or like they get in the red zone and like I want to be able to go crazy and celebrate if he scores. Like that's the play. That's what we're doing there. That's what those are. When we cashed that one a couple weeks ago when they had the Saturday game and they had the 2 games and we cashed Jefferson and I don't know why I'm forgetting the other person, but we cashed out one of them and then we cashed Jefferson second, I think, at a plus like 4,700. That was a fun feeling. I'll be honest. That was a good feeling. That's fun. That's what those are for. Look at these lines. Oh my gosh. Holy smokes. Guys, do you just go with like the under? What about like an oh man, that's not great. I thought we'd get better odds for like an anti-correlation slip. If you did this and then under, what about under for JMO? Is that too scary? That's not as good of odds as I thought we'd get. Or no, I'm sorry. I'm doing the anti-correlation slip wrong. It's that. But I'd probably go this way. That's not terrible. Maybe Laporta. Let's see. You know what? Let's just fast forward right to this game. Let's just pull this game right up. Maybe you take the under. And maybe this ends up being what if this game ends up being a little bit more of a defensive battle? What if we don't get, we're still going to get some touchdowns in there. I'm not saying you have to stay away from these plays. So, all right. So just so you know, the confidence scores are calculated independently of each other. I don't know why some of the projections aren't loading. We'll have to look at a third-party provider. Right now that's a third-party provider, but might have to look at that. But let's see, since they're independently calculated, let's do it this way. Look at Sam Darnold passing yardage prop. To the over, the confidence is 0.53. To the under, though, is a 0.64. So I know that might be a little bit confusing, but there is a reason for it. I promise there's a method to that madness. So it might be inconveniencing. It might be, an inconvenience sometime to have to look at that on both sides of it. But I don't think you have to do it most of the time because I know, like, if you're coming in with no preconceived notions, you're just like, give me the best bet, then it's worth looking at it on both sides a little bit. But if you just want to see, give me the best under right here for this. Sam Darnold, under 294.5. I don't hate it. Get yourself the 299.5 if you can play it on bet online. ESPN bet, 299.5. Under's a minus 135. So you're getting a little tax there, minus 155. But I kind of like that. So DraftKings is showing the best odds as a minus 110 at the line that appears the most often, which is 294.5. But I wouldn't focus on that as much. I'd do a little searching on my own and find it at 299.5 on ESPN bet and play the under right there. Give yourself a little room there. under 300 passing yards for Sam Darnold. So you could do like an under there and then do an over for somebody like Jefferson, though, and assume Jefferson gets his over or something like that. I wonder what it does if we do some alt lines for Jefferson. Take a look at like 70 plus. And what if we did an alt line for Addison? You could say most of the yards come from these two guys. It's not bad either. So you're saying both these guys have a decent game. They're still getting some receptions. They're still getting some yardage. But overall, Sam Darnold stays under 300 yards. And you get that at, a plus 1796. That's not bad at all. Guys, we have 144 people watching across the two platforms. I've done a terrible job of asking for favors here, but do me a favor. Like the video, please, okay? I appreciate you. Please like the video, all right? We got to pump those numbers up a little bit. Gibbs, yardage over. Yeah, who doesn't, right? I mean, that's the play. Now, the only question I think you have to ask is, do you end up going over his – we on unders or overs? We're on unders. There we go. That's a better confidence. We want to look at rushing yardage. So his over is set at 90.5. You can get it at 87.5 on some of the books. What about his receiving yardage prop? Receiving yardage is at 33.5, 34. Bally's are coming in screwy. They have all sorts of issues all the time. Flip is 34.5 if you want to play it there. If you're going to play it on the Pick'em apps, 34.5 on PrizePicks and Underdog. I'm just curious, does Underdog still have Gibbs? Or is there an issue with that too? Let's see. There it is, receiving yards, 33.5, right? 34.5. Oh, it must have moved. It's moving. It's on the move, ladies and gentlemen. All right, well, I like that then. I think that, so it's 33.5. Let's look at his rushing and receiving yardage prop. So you're getting a 33 plus 93, somewhere around there. I mean, I probably would want to include his receiving yardage in that too. I think that for a guy like Gibbs, who had what did he get? He had a long catch last week, right? Or was that the end around or the flip to Jamison Williams I was thinking of? But I mean, he's obviously a guy that can put up big numbers in the receiving game. So I think I would rather do the receptions and rushing yardage prop. But as you can see right there, he had a big receiving yardage game against Buffalo, and it didn't work out for him. Still hit the under there. Still hit the under. So, but there's anytime touchdown. Just do a parlay with anytime touchdown and like 70 plus rushing yards, something like that. 80 plus probably you might have to hit. Actually, you probably have to hit it better if you're going to do that. You could look at his first half touchdowns too, but that's hit or miss. It really is hit or miss. Let's look at his longest reception prop. Longest reception prop sitting at 14.5, hit the over in 3 straight games, averages 16.6 over his last 5. 16.6 is the average largest reception he's had over the last 5 games. And I wanted to look at longest rush too. So hit it last week, had a good little run here. Did not hit it against Buffalo or Chicago, but then hit it against San Fran last week. I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities. But Minnesota's defense is no slouch against the run, right? Are they weak against the pass? Let me see. Yeah, no. Minnesota's defense is tough against the run. 3rd toughest defense in the league. I think I'd want to include the reception. Actually, I might even just lean receiving yards. 34.5. We're getting up at that line where like Devin Achane gets it. That's Devin Achane's line. 34.5, 33.5. That's pretty high. That is pretty high. I think for this game, I would probably look to do the receiving yards and the anytime touchdown parlay for Gibbs for like a small, probably like a half unit play or something like that would be something I'm going to look at. His rushing attempts is set about appropriately. 18.5 here. Yeah, 18.5 across all books with slight lean to the under, I would say, if anything. Yeah, definitely lean into the under on the 18.5. So keep that in mind if you're looking at his rushing prop. His rushing attempts prop is juiced more to the under. Naylor for Minnesota, sprinkled Jalen Naylor, anytime touchdown, hit in the first 4 games, and recently resurging now that Addison is stepping up. Pull that up real quick here. Jalen Naylor, first touchdown or anytime touchdown? You said anytime, right? Plus 475 on Bet Rivers. Look at DraftKings, plus 290. Everybody else is at a plus 400. DraftKings really getting after you. Yeah. That's interesting, Jeff Rowe. I feel the Patriots throw the game for the Bills win. Yeah, they listen. I don't think they have to try. They probably want the number one pick in the draft. Yeah, if they're smart, I don't agree. I don't disagree with you, Jay. If they're smart, they need to lose. Like these teams, like the Titans and the Patriots, if they're coming out and winning, like what are they doing? Addison needs 100 plus to hit 1,000. Andrew, how much do you think these guys care about that kind of marker? Like, okay, just hear me out. And I could be totally wrong on this, but like 1,000, unless there's like a money incentive, like, is it really different? Does it affect his pocketbook? Does it affect his how the team feels about him? You know, his long-term longevity with the team. Like, how do they view him? You know, how important is he to their team? Does like 1,000 make that big of a difference? Is it different? Like, is it a huge difference for these guys if they get 932 yards receiving and 1,000? I really don't know. Like, I don't know. What do you care? Do you care? Like, I get it for Mike Evans. Mike Evans, he's like on this huge streak and stuff, setting records on that. I totally get it. A slight motivator? Yeah, it could be. I wonder. I bet you know what I bet? Andrew, I bet you it's like individual to the player. And I know that's nothing we can ever conceptualize or anything, but it's probably like individual to the player, right? Like certain guys care about that stuff and certain guys don't. We've seen these guys get up and be like, yeah, you know, like I don't care about numbers. I don't care about that. All I care about is winning. And then there's definitely other guys that do care about numbers because they know how that affects their bottom line. So I think it's probably like individual for the player. And like you could really get into like an interesting line of betting if you like watched interviews of these guys and kind of see what they say and like, you know, watch interviews in training camp and stuff like that and be like, okay, like, you know, Jordan Addison's a guy, he don't care about this. He's motivated just by the team. He wants to be like a team guy. He wants to like, you can do a whole analysis about this and probably have some good success with betting and stuff. But like, does Addison care about those individual numbers or is he just more concerned of like, you know, as long as we win the game and I get one reception the whole game, I don't care. And this means nothing to me, whatever. Very interesting. So I think that if you want to look at his 100 plus, I'm going to put it out to 20. New features coming down here within like 10 days, guys. 10 days, okay? A little bit better customization. I know that NFL is coming to a close, but it'll help us in NBA and MLB and stuff too. But let's see, let's put it at 100 plus. So he's only hit this line 3 times out of his last 20 games, 2 times out of his last 10 though. So that's a little bit better. So that's a 20% hit rate, averaging 66.6. Addison, let's see, Detroit. Yeah, Detroit's a sieve. I'm just looking real quick at some historical game log stuff real quick. You had Jennings last week hit his over, Ricky hit his over, and Debo struggled. So you could argue that the number one maybe receiver on that team, Debo, over Jennings, struggled, and the number 2 and number 3s really succeeded. The week before that, DJ Moore hit his over. Keenan Allen crushed, went nuclear on the over against Detroit. Keon Coleman, that's not really a clear number 1 there. The Giants or the Packers don't really have like a clear cut number 1 guy. So it looks like Detroit's just leaky against everybody, really. It's not like I was trying to see real quick, you know, this is something I would have to dive in a little bit more, but like how they do it versus number 1 receivers as opposed to like the number 2 guy. It doesn't seem to be anything that really stands out. So, you know, Addison's 100 plus line, can we alt that? Addison receiving yardage, 100 plus. It's pretty good. A plus 310 was better than I was expecting. That's a little bit better than what I was expecting. So I don't hate it. I think it's if you're going to do that, you got to build out something that makes sense to it. So if he goes 100 plus, man, I don't know about taking a Justin Jefferson under, but if he goes 100 plus, maybe you take a little under here, and then maybe you do Sam Darnold. That 292 line is pretty high. Maybe you do 250. Nothing. Doesn't move the needle at all. Actually, you're getting taxed if you do any positive correlation there. So it's not worth it. So if you're going to play this, it'd be a straight bet then for me. Unless, let me see, can I put the touchdown? Do I get a little bit for the touchdown? No, barely anything. It's not worth it. It's not worth parlaying this. So if you're going to play it as a straight. Now, the first touchdown, you could make an argument that's a little bit worth it. If you think he scores the first touchdown, gets a big game, it's a little bit of a narrative there. Scores the first touchdown, comes out comes out and is fed early. Okay, they make a concerted effort. Like, okay, Addison's going to have a good matchup this week. If they found something that they know more than we'll ever know. If they found something like, hey, we think Addison has a good matchup, a favorable matchup this week, we could take a look at that. That is something you can do real quick on the side. I'm just going to pull up Addison's touchdowns. Anytime touchdown bet. Best odds for his anytime touchdown straight up is a plus 140 on DraftKings. Fliff is a plus 110. Bovada, BetMGM plus 125. And Hard Rock plus 115. All right, yeah, I don't think that's a bad play. Anti-correlation bets. Andrew, I've started to kind of dabble in them. I'll be honest and say it hasn't been something I've looked at a ton. So the anti-correlation, I'm pretty basic with it. If I was to do it, it was kind of like what I was talking about. You could do, how about this? Now, what about this? What about Addison 100 plus? Now, that's something that's interesting. But I probably would look at like 80 plus. Ooh, man, I wish we were getting it better. Maybe 90 plus. You probably just go 100 at that point. So do we get, like, are they calculating out? That's not bad. 70 plus right there. That's pretty solid. I've been kind of dabbling, getting my feet wet, but I'll be honest and say it's not my, this is not my thing. Like, I've got, certain guys have their thing. They're comfortable with the stuff. First touchdown bets have kind of become a thing I've been doing a lot. This is something I'm just starting to scratch the surface on. So I would love to hear more from you and from of these people that are, more of this anti-correlation slip bettors. I'm very much like a positive correlation. I come from the DFS background of like when you're building out these lineups, you want to positively correlate your lineup. So it's been like something I've had to flip on I've had to kind of flip on the axis here a little bit to wrap my head around these anti-correlation things. But Sam Darnold under 292.5, I think, and then just do something like this. That's kind of where I'm looking right now, at least for this game, because that's what I have pulled up. That would be the correlation I would be looking at this week, something like that. And I'd probably keep it relatively simple like this. How about this? Any guys you like over their yards and under their receptions? So I usually will look at these big play guys. So let's see here. Under their yardage and over their receptions. Jefferson, I think. What's his receptions prop at? I want to see. Let me take a look at what he's been doing lately. Let me pull up Jefferson over here. I'm going to use the mobile because this is how I'm just used to using it. Jefferson's. Nope. I want to look at receptions. Sheesh. He's got a long line of hitting it, doesn't he? I mean, Detroit's really going to have to give special attention to Jefferson, though. They can't just let him get fed. It's not as good as what I wanted to look at here. Let's see here. Let's sort it by straight bets, so let's make sure. So that's going to filter out some of these plays. How about Marvin? Listen, this is off the dome, so I'm not saying that necessarily I'm going to walk out of this play and be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to play that for sure. But let me take a look at Arizona. Actually don't hate that. Probably not. I'm not saying I'm going to jump all over it and play it, but I actually don't hate that. Marvin over his yardage, but under his 5.5 receptions over here. So if you're going to play it, find a spot where you can play the 5.5 receptions. Only a couple of books left that have it. Bet Rivers, Bailey Bet are 2, which I know are not available in a lot of books. So it looks like it's down to 4.5. I don't like it as much. I liked it when it was 5.5 on some of these books. So, but it's okay. I thought we were going to get it at 5.5, and I'd be like, okay, under 5.5 receptions, over 54.5. I kind of like that, but that would be where I would go for that then. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an hour. It's been real. It's been wonderful. You want the top touchdown play on the board? Bucky Irving right now is the top touchdown play on the board, ladies and gentlemen. Still only getting it. Oh, look at that. Yeah, at a minus 160, I mean, you're still only getting it at a confidence score of a 0.49 this week. But remember, with the confidence score, you not only want to look at it in relation to the opposite side of the play sometimes. Oh, I'm sorry. That is not the top play on the board. My mistake. I still have it set to straight. Top touchdown play on the board. That makes sense more to me is Jahmyr Gibbs and then Bijan Robinson. You could just parlay together Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs here, and you probably want to throw in a third guy there because you're not getting great odds. but go with like a Mike Evans or Bucky Irving. You get a nice plus odds play on that. I know it's not as great as we are because these it's not as great as what we usually want to look at because these books are taxing us. A minus 280 is kind of crazy. I know he's up to a minus 300 on some of these books, but something like that. Those are the top touchdown plays on the board. So if you're looking at how to use this app, if you just open the app, Tony Pollard has some incentive for 2+ touchdown, by the way. If you want to just look at the app and just pick some of these top players, there you go. I mean, it kind of does the work for you. It just sorts it by highest confidence score. Pick a couple of these guys out, round robin them, put together a parlay. I guarantee that if you do this and you do it once or twice, give me like 2 weeks out of this. Pick 2 to 3 guys. I guarantee you will cash at least one of those. These guys have hit enough. We cashed on that one. I had the plus 33,000 going where it came down to Mike Evans. We cashed 8 out of 9 using just this. That's all I did. I went on this. I picked a couple of my guys out. I did highest to lowest, picked some of my favorites, skipped a guy or two that I thought maybe was in a bad spot or I didn't like them. Go right down the list, play these guys, win all the money. That's it. It's that simple. Ladies and gentlemen, Mims or Palmer? I'm going to have to defer to you, Andrew. I'm going to have to look at those after. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys. PropsBot.AI. Check it out. Check out the website. You've got all the links here that you need to it. Hold on one second here. Pull it up for you on the screen one more time. Beautiful. There it is. All the links are now live, and we're getting some more customer reviews, so I'll be filling this in. These are a little bit generic. And, yeah, take a look at it. We've got blogs. I've got tutorials posted. Link right to the Discord there if you want to hop in the Discord in the free channels and just chat it up with us. All the stuff. Blogs, whatever you need. Whatever you guys need. I appreciate you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the last week of NFL betting until we get to the playoffs. And then things get really spicy. And then these guys have a lot to play for. It's going to be a little bit easier to predict than the week this week. So remember, be smart with your money, bet smart, and win more. And have a great Sunday. Hopefully you guys win some money. And let me know if you do.